Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodity Futures Report for Wednesday, May 25th. And this is the US dollar index here on the monthly chart. And from the low here, we're looking at wave 1 to the upside. A nice ABC for wave 2, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, an A and a B and a C for the fourth wave. And then we're looking up here for the fifth wave at this point. So once we get this fifth wave in, after 5 waves, as you may know, then we would be looking at an ABC correction at that point. And normally when we find the extension in wave 3, then wave 1 and wave 5 can be roughly the same. Just take that with a pinch of salt, just to give you perspective on the situation. So this move to the upside there, let's just cut through to the daily chart and check on that. So from the low here, the 5 waves up we're looking for is 1 and 2, and then we're going all the way up to wave 3 here. So we're looking at the top of wave 3, and now we're looking for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave. We can see the stochastics gearing up here for a turn for wave B, so we're pretty much pretty comfortable with that particular move. Wave 4s can get complicated. I've just got it as a simple ABC, but we may be walking into a nightmare. But anyway, that will unfold, and of course the euro is doing the opposite and other currencies are doing what they need to do. So that's the US dollar, and you know, that's taking a little bit of pressure off for the short term anyway, off some of these commodities. I don't know at what point the price of the US dollar will affect buying and selling of commodities as such. It's not my sort of area of expertise, but I wouldn't mind knowing that myself. Rightio. So over to gold. This is a monthly chart here for gold, and it's all pretty sort of straightforward in that we've got a nice strong third wave up here, and we're looking for the fourth wave here. Now the fourth wave is sort of a little bit of a guessing game in here. But let's go in and see what we can make of it. So going from the monthly to the weekly, we've got a couple of ways we could look at this. We could see that on this 1 week chart here, we could also see the stochastic sort of, you know, cheering up down here, gearing up, ready for a move to the upside. How fast this stochastic, obviously indicators lagging, but how fast it moves up will be a sign. Will it move up in line, you know, parity with the actual price, or will it race ahead of the price? Because if it races ahead of the price in terms of its distance from 0 to 100, then we'll know that the move up will be corrective. And the reason that I've got this particular count here for is, and it may not be right, so don't get excited or don't throw stuff at me. It's because of Barrick Gold. There's a good case here for Barrick Gold to have wave 1 here with an ABC for wave 2. Now I can't confirm this unless I get a nice impulse wave, a nice 5 wave structure up here. Also between wave B here and wave C here, we would want to see the market find support on this box here, which is the 50 and the 61.8% mark. Of course, we can go long above this point here because we've got 5 waves here and we've got another 5 waves here for that. GDX is basically the same as well. So yeah, we just got to give it a little bit of time in terms of this, but I just wanted to show wave 1 and wave 2 there, where I was getting that from, and it's all sort of doable at that point. But yeah, so that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at this is, I think it was on, did we just look at that? I've lost the plot lately. I mean, not lost the plot lately, but I've been on the computer since early this morning, and now it's late afternoon. So the other point here that we've been talking about was this triangle pattern here of looking at an A wave here, a B wave here, a C, a D and an E here. For this to be the case, it's possible that we've got this in here now as wave C because of the move up, and we'll talk a bit about that. It's not set in stone just yet. There's going to be a while before we'll be able to, you know, for sure with all of this. Now I was also looking at the move down here as an A wave, a B wave, and then 1, 2, and then moving down here, which is still on the case. But I have to say the little move up here has given a little bit more weight to the wave being a wave D and this being a wave C there, but I can't totally confirm it just yet. So we're just really sort of working through this whole issue with this. So this little move down here, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I think we're on 10 there, so I'll just go to 10k tick and might just grab a bit more data. So yeah, I mean, from the top here, from that B, we could look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and down for a C wave here. We can work that count into this point. And the reason for that is because, during the week, as you may know, we were looking at this as a possible A wave with a B wave here, and then another 5 waves up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. But it's moved past that as an A and a B and a C. We've got an extra little wave in here. So we could probably start to look up as an A and a B and a C for the D wave up here. That's the possibility at this point. So I need to do a little bit more work on that. The market will stall here a little bit because it's at the 38.2% retracement level. So if I take that top there just roughly and the current low here a little bit roughly hiding behind that number 5 there, we're sitting on the 38.2. So it will play out when you get a trend like this and you put the top and the bottom here. You can look at the 23, 32, 50 and the 61.8% and the 70. They'll all have a little, they'll all play their little part along the way. So it will stall here, but in terms of the trading levels, then we're in group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80. But anyway, we'll work on that particular count, but that's sort of where we are at the moment for that. So we should see that sort of edge a little higher. In terms of silver, done much the same. We can count silver from this current low down at the $20 mark here. We've got a nice impulse wave here. We've got a nice impulse wave here. Rather a big wave 4 here. So we could look at this as an A wave, a B wave here, and then build up a case here. Whichever way you want to peel this egg, it's still further to the upside. So if you want to go long, you can do that at this point because it still needs to be further upside up here for that. Rightio. So over to the soft commodities, the DB agricultural index here. I think, as I've been mentioning all week and whatnot, it's possible to look at this as wave 1 to the upside, coming back for wave 2 and then going up for 3, 4, 5 and having a longer wave 5 here. But I really don't think that's the case because this is the size of wave 1 here. So this will be about the size of wave 5 here. And also to support this pullback into the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. And also this wave 4 can get a bit complicated as well. But to help confirm that will be the soft commodities like corn here. Has now broken this low here, so it's arrived at 800. We're looking at a classic trading levels pattern at this point here. We may be able to buy here and here. We'll make some suggestions for that. But that arrival here, we've had the arrival here, now have the reaction. So we're in the reaction. Then we'll have the first high above the level, and then we'll work over. So we can basically look to buy here and all of that. We can have a bit of fun with that point there, but that's basically where corn is. And wheat is much the same as well. So with corn coming down, that means that the agricultural ETF can also come down. And we've also been just looking at wheat as well, looking at an A wave and then an A and a B and a C for the B wave. And now we've got wave 1 and 2 coming down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks like we're on the right track here. I mean, it could be up for 1 and back for 2 and up for 1 and back for 2. That's possible, and it will certainly find support at the 50-60% retracement level here. So we're going to be stalling here for a little while, but the main premise has been all week of pulling back down into that space, which coming back to the DBA here is for this to pull back before we see any upside in that. So that's really where soft commodities are for the while. I don't know the constituents within that ETF. I'll have to have a look and see if all soybeans is in there. That's when I first started to trade, actually, back in 1982 for a Japanese company doing soya beans and red beans and Mambashi dry cocoon and gold and silver. They only had a bit like the London fixed price for London gold, where they have two sets. In Japan at the time, they had two fixed prices in the morning and two fixed prices in the afternoon. They were wild days, limit up and limit down in the commodities. Anyway, it was the early 80s, it was another time, and iron ore. Now, I don't have any answers for iron ore. I believe the whole move down is corrective, but I can't prove it. All I've got is the first leg down here being corrective and not impulsive, making the rest of all of this corrective. If the 800 here, or the 801 in this case, because this is traded in China, if that becomes the retested resistance under here, then we're bearish and we're going down from that point, and obviously that will take Rio, Vale, FMG, all of those boys down with it. So but I just don't know yet, so I don't have any answers for iron ore, and we're not trading in that iron ore stock place just yet. We have our moments in that, so we just need to be a bit patient, and I don't know, but you may know, and that's good for you, but I don't at this point. Natural gas, so I'm kind of tying this in with the crude oil chart, because the crude oil chart is giving me a bit of a whipping as well. So I just need to look around the block a little bit on this, and that means that with natural gas here, we've had wave 3 and we had an ABC for wave 4 here, and then we've been building up here for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. So we could finish up. I mean, we're getting a pretty flat double top here. I mean, maybe I need to extend this out here further, which would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and moving into a third wave. I mean, markets love big numbers, so it can end up here, but we're still at the old top here, so there can be a softening in this area here. I mean, if that is the top of wave 5 or 5 of 3, well, then wave 4's going to come back, technically, and come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, but there's nice support built up at number 8 here now, so it might just come back into that space. I don't quite know, but my point being here is that we can't go long just here. We've been looking at gas stocks as well, but there can be a top here. But double tops are never the end of the trend, so we'll be going higher, and 1 is the strongest number, so the numbers are, they act like magnets, really. It's just psychology. So but the reason I'm saying we're going to have a softening here is because that can affect the energy sector. This is XLE here, the energy sector. And I've put these guys in here because they make it up. There's got the biggies up here, Exxon and Chevron here got 20% of it. But Exxon is also big in the gas market as well. It's doing 8.5 billion cubic, but that was like a year ago, so I don't know what the story is now. There'll be pressure on these guys to be producing more gas to send to Europe and so on. But I wanted to get an idea of what the constituents in this particular sector and what weighting they have to understand it a little bit, because this sector's topping here and we're going to be pulling back. It's as I've mentioned before, we're starting to see sharp moves coming here, and we're at number 8. We always call 8 a profit taking number, and in terms of the classic trading levels pattern, we've got the arrival and the reaction, and now we'll look for the first high above the level, and then we should be seeing a pullback here. So it can bring we know gas can come back, we know will oil come back. That's kind of what I'm getting at here with all of this, because when I look at the crude market, and obviously dealing in physical crude oil and bunker fuel and JP1 and all those sort of things, they get delivered. They're not like indexes where they settle for cash. There's deliveries on these, and so it's a slightly different sort of market to a point, but I'm having trouble with this pattern across here. I can see that there's different ways that it can be counted, and I can't see a way to nail one of them down to say that's it and we need to be long. Obviously there's a crude energy, crude and gas, situation out there, as you know. So it's most likely going up, as everything, in that sector is sort of edging higher. Now, this one here sort of bothers me, this little move here, because it can be counted very clearly in 5 waves. So that means that, well, I mean, I could put wave C here of 4 and be sort of done with it at that point, and the whole thing is finished. That's possible. I could also put wave C here, but because I've got 5 waves here, it's sort of haunting me a little bit. So I can't really go long until I go on sort of above this high here. And if I was going to do that, well, then I'll just look for a classic trading levels pattern on that level there. I'd need some sort of support on there like that. If that was the level there, would have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above, and so on. And we'll have some. There's only 3 patterns really that can occur at a level, unless they just, go to the level and fail, Like this would be a classic trading levels pattern here that never really completed, because it had the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. That becomes our reference point. We go long above that, we can bring it down to the next level, but it never came up to go up again. So it's kept us, that didn't trigger us into the long side. That definitely is not triggering us into the long side. So we may get it over here. But the other thing to think about all of this too is that when you do get sideways patterns, it's really an accumulation process as well. But we need to be careful that, we're looking at the energy sector, the gas and so on, it's possible to move down. So we may get something like an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here, or we could even get 5 waves down here and shake everybody out and then move off. I really don't know. But if I have to wait for a trade setup, I just have to wait for something safe. So basically to me we've got the arrival, the reaction. If we see the market push up here, well, there's going to be some sort of flickering across this level here. I know that 11,500 doesn't mean diddly squat to most people, but to me, it carries a lot. It's a medium level and it carries a fair bit of weight. To me, it's halfway between 2 major levels, 10 and 13, which is the Fibonacci sequence, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and then back to 1 again, the power of 10, and then you'd have 10, 20, 30 and so on. But the Fibonacci sequence runs, in terms of geometry, runs 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, where Fibo and Gann have a bit of a meeting at that particular number. But anyway, this is not support. I don't understand the pattern well enough to call something in here, so I just need to wait. I can see that. I can count 5 waves here, and this also looks impulsive here. It looks like it wants to go up, but yeah, I don't particularly want to go long in front of this number here, so I can't help at this point with this. And I've had a bit of a look around the block, as I've just done here, but it's not really giving me much to I just can't see much at the moment with this. Okay, over to copper. Now this is the ETF for copper, and so I'm thinking that we've got wave 3 here with an A wave and a B wave up here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for this. Now look, we'll just do nothing really. Let's just see. It's currently pretty much at the 38.2% retracement level there. I don't need to measure it, I can see it. So anyway, this resistance there. So look, if it comes down, terrific. If it gets back up and gives us a classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 25, and we've got an impulse wave here, well, then we'll pick up some of this and we'll go long, and we'll be making a new high up here. Now, the reason I'm showing you this here for is because we're going to cut through to the futures contract on copper, and we're going up into that wave 4 there. So this is it here. We've been tracking this up all week. So copper, US copper, so an A and a B and a C here for that. So we called in the top there after the little last 5 waves, and it does appear that we've got this moving, got an impulse wave to the downside. Look, I may be wrong here, but if we do get, if it gets the next leg here, and then once it moves down here, I mean, because it could just be an A and a B and a C and then go up from that point, but this is a classic trading levels pattern sitting on 43, which is a 3. which is group 1, so medium level here, 1, 2 and 3 that make up group 1, and this is the top of group 1. If we get support here, we go long here, so I would be putting a thing across the top here. When that pulls down here, or if it pulls down, then we'll bring that trigger down to this one, this top here, and we'll look to go long at that point. But all of that said and done, looking at the situation, we should be moving down here to finish off our last wave structure down here for that. So let's just see how the cookie crumbles, but I'm not going to put that there just yet because that will give us a false sense of what's happening. But if that top gets taken out, it does push this to higher ground at that point, and being long on group 1, any number 3 coming from the bottom, that to me is that's a green light. So we'll see how that plays out. And nickel here, as you know from the other day, yesterday, this little move up through here didn't give us 5 waves. It just gave us an A and a B and a C. So I had to label it wave 4 because it came back roughly to this one here. And this move here, we could count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. I haven't paid it much attention. It looks impulsive. However, this one here also looks impulsive as well. So yeah, I don't know about putting wave 2 there, but that sort of looks impulsive. Look, I mean, we should be coming down. Will this wave 4 get more complicated? And I've got to put it over here, and we're looking at some sideways pattern before a drop or something. I'm not quite sure, but we're not there. We're not there yet with this. The market's still telling me that we're going lower, so we need to just track that lower. Now, uranium. This here is. We're looking at an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. I find the C wave here pretty sharp, a little bit sort of haunting, and the move up here is not really giving us an impulse wave as such. So that's a bit, we've got a small half position in there, but we could look at that. But I must say that this, I took a second look at this. This could also be counted like this as well here. So we could look at this in terms of this structure here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But let's go into the 100 ticks and just have another little look at that structure coming to the downside. I just want to have a look at it myself. That looks okay, that's okay, that looks okay. Probably a little problem in here, but sort of matches up okay for the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th for the 3rd and the 4th. I think I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with all of this. Yeah, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay, but we just need to be a bit careful. I'm not really getting a nice picture up here. I can count it up as being positive as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then sort of building over here. And we've got a long position here, and we've got the stop here. Let's just see what occurs with this. We can look at this as an ABC for the A wave, an ABC here for the B wave, and then going up for the C wave just here. Or in fact a C wave up here even further with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're a long way from being positive yet in all of this. So I don't really, it's all pretty high risk at this point with this particular market. So nothing really strong here at this point. This is just the FTSE 250, the mid cap. So yeah, nothing to do with what we're doing at the moment. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.